louder than I expected. Hey, Shy. Hi. Yeah, sorry for being late.
It's all right. Yeah. This game, it is rare for us to get here on time.
I know it's a reboot.
Of a reboot.
Oh.
It's a meeting more just to iron things out. We'll be starting up next week. This is more just to establish setting, things like that, so I don't have to explain it when we actually get to there. I'm still ironing that out. Might do it every week. We work on a part-time job for the next 3 months, so I can probably find a good balance. But to set things up, officially, your group was never known. The last group, Rave, Rainer, and the others. The group before that was never really known. The last group, Rainer and the others, Rainer was the de facto leader, despite how much he vehemently despised it. Nobody ever knew that for some reason. Point being, that group reached its peak 10 years ago. Essentially, as it turned out, the kidnapping of the princess was one in a long series of interwoven events that happened throughout the kingdoms. From the sudden uprising of a cult worshipping the goddess of magic and chaos in the theocracy trying to overthrow the entire capital, to several political members suddenly being replaced by doppelgangers in Girote's main democracy. This was simply a single player becoming impatient. Through mostly sheer luck, gathering the right allies, and Rainer managing to get into the pants of a select number of people, that you managed to romance the crap out of others.
I like that.
No, not this time around. What are you talking about? Octavius is in no way related to Rainer. Point being, that group rose to some level of fame. They aren't heroes known throughout the realm. They're just people that, well, true. You did succeed. You, however, are hailed as perhaps the saviors of civics, at least in the eyes of the native tribes. Through your efforts, you managed to unite them and create what is now known as the Union of Civics, a coalition of the various tribes and groups that are scattered throughout. Through your efforts and time spent, you eventually managed to push out the Lich that had resurrected himself from the corpse of a long dead court mage of the last kingdom that had dominated civics. Through machination, it was a contingency plan. You also found out that Civics' last empire fell after the king fell ill and his mother assumed power. Spiraling into madness, she eventually made deals with the devil, which caused the entire kingdom to be thrown into uproar. Civil war ensued, and three major men arose. Though one was a woman, but disguised herself as a man. It was a bit weird. Regardless, while they eventually managed to put down the queen and quell the demonic force, it was not without losses. The kingdom had suffered too much, and it fell. The ruins are now what what the coalition built itself upon. Just south of number 8 lies the old capital. Once buried in heavy marshlands, it was arisen when the Lich tried to execute his plan of plunging the entirety of civics into an undead scourge, killing and resurrecting every living being to serve under him. Though the group managed to stop him, kick his ass, and destroy him fully. After that,
what about our friends that were undead that couldn't figure out why they were undead? What happened to them?
No one actually knows. Yeah, that was a bit of a weird one. Surprisingly, that group was fully prepared to let themselves die if it meant destroying the Lich, but when all was said and done, they were still there. They were still dead, but, well, they were still going. So, from there, in those 10 years, the Union has slowly begun to make contact with the other kingdoms. My Tyrell has had the most contact with them, as, being traders, a sudden influx of goods, it was essentially making them salivate. As such, the Union and My Tyrell have strong ties to one another now.
And Jing's rich, bitch.
However, and after that, the group slowly worked their way back across the sea, across the scarred sea, back to My Tyrell and tracked down the Lich. From there, they teamed up with several high-ranking groups within both My Tyrell and even the Theocracy's governments, and managed to uproot his plans, discovering in the process the others as well. Sorry, needed to text somebody. Eventually, you discovered the mastermind behind the plan, a demigod, a son of the goddess of magic. In a rather ill-guided attempt, he was hoping to bring back his former mother to the mortal plane, and as such, he needed several other groups to do so. The group eventually managed to destroy this threat, putting him down permanently. And after that, went their separate ways. Jing settled down with his family and started throwing his all into the trading company. He also raised his daughter Lucy.
And don't forget my wife. The dwarf married me.
Yes, he also had a wife. She was a bit confused that you had a drow daughter, but she rolled with it.
You know, Devona married me.
Oh, yeah. That's actually a bit of a sore spot. After everything was done, Devona disappeared. Without a trace. Things were amicable between the two of you, but she just up and vanished. There are a lot of bizarre qualities to this. For one thing, no one's found anything on her. She never technically existed. But things settled down. Rainer eventually married his own woman. Elizabeth. I have too many damn names. Yes, Lisa. Rainer eventually did marry Lisa and had two daughters and one son. Elizabeth, well, the less said about her exploits, the better. Oh. An extra I there, but pretty damn close. Very near. It was just flavor. Though, oddly enough, you do get a present every year. A rather sloppily made Father's Day card. Lisa gets a bit pissed whenever it shows up. But... Elizabeth, the one thing we will say about Elizabeth, she eventually did reunite with her sister. But again, the less said about what happened after those two reunited, the better for most of us. And that's how things ended for that group. In the 10 years after, things seemed to calm a bit. Rumors of cults and other such groups seemed to almost disappear. They just vanished. Unfortunately, in this world, the bizarre and the odd is frightening. It would make this world tick. The citizens have become accustomed to it. It's a part of their lives. Without it, something feels wrong. At this point, it's simply a matter of time until the other shoe drops. But we aren't concerned about that yet. Rather, our story begins with a group of ragtag individuals meeting by chance in a small port town. That's where we start.
I'm all tingly inside.
We are starting, once again, in the Frost Iron Imperium. Specifically, in the small port town of Rover's Landing. This small settlement is one of the more superstitious and religious towns within the Imperium, and one of the few that hold direct ties with the theocracy. As such, there are a few temples and other such things that dot the borders and outer parts of this smaller town, along with quite a few farmsteads. As, for one reason or another, the lands occupying the few miles outside of the town are incredibly fertile, to the point of almost being ridiculous. Crops grown here are hardy and strong and extremely fortified, and can almost seem to endure any kind of weather or anomaly. The town was supposedly founded when a family known as the Rovers moved in and tried to set up a farm due to the fact that a trading baron had pushed them out of their last farmstead and a deal they had with a larger city. The land was found when the family was at the end of their rope, and its near magical properties was discovered by accident. The Rovers established the first farmstead, and eventually more families flocked to them, escaping the more suffocating prices of barons to hopefully cut out their own little slice of life. Eventually, things built up, and a town was formed, even opening up into the port business. They now have direct lines with most major cities to buy crops and other products from them that are mostly agricultural based. However, they've never made the move to become a city because they hold that same value at the heart. A life free from any suffocation or charges or anything that a city can entail. That was the ideals the Rovers wanted to establish, and that's the ideals this town will die by. To introduce the group, I believe Necro and Guro and Toki, your characters knew each other, or?
Huh?
Yeah, Necro and Toki, your two characters, I thought were connected in some way, or?
Yeah. Delilah feels that Necro's character is her savior, so she acts as her bodyguard.
Okay. Necro, the reason you were drawn to this town is a few weeks ago you had a dream. Always seemed to point to this area. Knowing that dreams typically did not bode well if you ignored them, you acted on it. Taking your rather eccentric bodyguard with you, you traveled to the town, not knowing why, but knowing it was most likely going to be something interesting.
Why must my dreams always haunt me?
Well,
Why am I always being cursed?
because you decide to play things that are otherworldly in nature.
That's actually the most interesting part of you.
It is.
You mess with that shit, you know what you get, Necro.
This is exactly why we got rid of the Ouija board, so you'd stop playing with it.
Yeah, no, you got rid of the Ouija board, and somehow magically another one just appeared in his hands. It was a rather vexing week for you and the staff of the cat at his old home.
We're in the Frostine, right? This is the one that's cold all the damn time, right?
Yeah, so you're all used to a colder climate and wearing a bit more bundly clothing. Octavius?
What's her name is from Delilah is from Syrinx of the Uncharted territory, so she's completely covered head to toe in furs.
You know, Delilah is just sort of one massive puff. Point being, I'm getting off.
Which I knew more about that game, honestly.
Eric, your character has been wandering. You started out in the middle of nowhere, and this is just the first settlement you've stumbled upon. You've been here about 2-3 weeks. You're still treated as an outsider. You have provided some assistance and help to some of the locals, so they don't despise you or fear you. You're just a question mark to them. You mostly stick around in the tavern, not partially because it's warm and they don't kick you out for staying there hours on end, but also...
What's the name of the town?
Rover's Landing.
I'm just adding that to the background to go keep track of it.
The tavern itself is known as the Iron Spoke. This is in no part due to the fact that Rover's Landing is the town's setup in general is shaped sort of like a wheel. A circular a series of circular outer roads, and a small cluster of larger buildings in the center.
Okay, you waiting for a response from me?
Sorry, no, it was just looking at something else. Point being, you stay there also because the bartender, Goliath herself, took a bit of pity on you and has let you stay there so long as you just stand in the corner and look intimidating whenever somebody starts acting a bit idiotic. For the most part, it works. You earn a bit of pay for it, a few silver and copper here and there, enough to cover room and board. But you've been living out of this place. You've been essentially living in this tavern for the past few weeks. But deep down, you know something's going to come along and ruin this. Or at the very least, shake things up for you. You don't know what. It's just something. Octavius, you're coming through this town on a bit of a hop, on a traveling tour. You got chased out of the last town. Sort of a bad pattern for you, but it was an enjoyable few nights. Luckily, no one seems to recognize you here. So you might have a few days before somebody tries coming at you with bloodlust. All you did was sleep with one guy's wife. You don't know why everybody got upset all of a sudden, but that's behind you. You always like thinking in the now. This town also looks kind of dreary. We figure you might as well spread some happiness while you're here. You only just got into town on that very day. Decided to find the local watering hole and try to pick people's spirits up. Song, dance, maybe a bit of wine on you. You always seem to have a knack for making people happy. Regardless, when the game actually starts up, we'll be inside a tavern. Octavius, you'll be providing entertainment and music for the night. Macro and Toki, you'll be just wandering into the bar, looking for any kind of leads on why you might have been drawn here. And Promuth, you'll have been keeping an eye out for anybody suspicious. And the two people who just walked in are definitely not from around here.
It's my coat. That is not from JoJo.
The chin is not defined enough.
His character is from Corinthal.
Lux?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yep. No, I just posted a picture to show what my coat looked like.
You probably could have just sent Lux's picture and it would have been better.
Sorry, Windows Defender notification just popped up on me.
I have no idea what just happened.
Notifications just popped up for me. That might have been the sound you heard.
No, I popped out. I don't know if I pressed the button or not, or what happened.
Mark just left and came back as well.
All right, so the setting. That's all the characters, a bit of background. Any kind of input on what the schedule should be for us? Mark's pulling for bi-weekly.
I'm good with whatever. I just have to make sure my schedule lines up with that.
I don't mind either way.
Boy, I'm ready to go right now.
I can go right now. I got the rest of the night free.
You guys want to go?
He 86 his computer. No, not since he 86 his computer.
You mean since his
His
child
kid
stopped 86
his
bit?
computer.
I'm going to see him on Tuesday, so I can definitely confirm with him or not.
All right, give us an update when you can.
I will.
Until
Or I'll
then,
make him give an update.
let's get started. So, it's about 2, 3 in the afternoon. Lunch crowd's just left. Well, actually, no, it's more in the evening. 6:30. Promise, you've been holed up here all day, and you're starting to get a bit itchy. You've been sitting in the corner, drinking tea, water, lighter stuff to keep yourself focused. The guy playing the music is a bit all right, a bit sketchy. You've never seen somebody so young with white hair before. So you're keeping an eye on him. Though he seems to be keeping everybody happy, so you really haven't bothered him yet.
I'm probably going to more wait for the bartender to give me like a hint that I need to do something about him.
Oh, no, she's actually kind of enraptured with the music for a bit. She's not staring at him. Just seems to be a bit more happy, more perky. She still has a job, mind you. One of the bartenders, on the other hand, is a bit of a different story. You'd recognize her as Rachel Roth, and, well, she's been a bit spaced out ever since he showed up. You've had to kind of nudge her on the shoulder just to make sure she's still doing her job, but every chance she's getting, she's just staring at the guy. Octavius, roll a perception check.
That's persuasion.
That's persuasion.
Wrong one.
You persuade the environment to actually make itself clearer to you.
Oh God, that would be great.
Purr. We're still gonna give you the same number.
999.
Nice.
The gods want us to be
9.
called the mighty number 9. Too bad that is already taken.
You're just really into this performance. You don't notice much. No, it just comes naturally to you. This just comes naturally.
If he has those extra, that's. Can I just see if I notice anything strange about the room at all?
Sure, roll perception yourself. Well, no, this would be investigation because you're actively looking for something.
I guess I'm rolling with advantage by accident.
No, this is mostly because you're really used to this place. You just know it.
Yeah, and somehow I get a natural 20 on my advantage, I guess.
You notice 2 people just walked in. They look...
I wasn't subtle about it at all. It was cold outside.
No, it's the other guy.
Through the door.
Yeah, no. The first one to walk in is wearing this massive oversized coat, and you immediately recognize she's actually a woman. She looks to be about as tall as you.
Which is shocking.
You got this sort of mane of wild, vibrant hair on her.
Okay.
And one sec, things sort of went screwy. There we go. Sorry, something screwy happened with my browser. So, she's got this mane of hair that's just seems a bit disheveled, but at the same time almost seems perfectly placed and planned out. Decked out in sort of this heavier armor. Got, well, not even heavier armor, it's just scale mail, but it looks really heavy on her for some reason. Then the other guy walks in. It's not that he looks like trouble, because he's perfectly normal. Hell, he looks downright polite in the way he just walks in almost unassumingly. The problem is, you get this vibe from him. You only ever get this vibe when something unnatural walks through the door. And you should know this, because a few things that are not exactly normal have walked through that door before. He's wearing a mask, which doesn't help his case, and he looks almost sickly thin. But
It's Necro's character, ain't it?
yeah. But he doesn't make a fuss. He just walks to a table and doesn't even have to say anything, as a much larger woman just sits down next to him. And there are quickly drinks brought to them, and he starts just doing other things. Doesn't look threatening. It's just, you get this really bad vibe from him. You just can't tell what it is.
Delilah does that Shogun thing with her coat where it still sits on her shoulders, but it's all over the back of the couch.
Yeah, no, you do that, but so
I guess the smart thing to do would be to go make my presence known to them. Just
roll an intimidation check.
I'm saying less intimidation. It's just like let them know that something big is here. But I guess
That would be intimidation, because you're sort of trying to make through. It's not so much intimidation to like scream in their face. It's more just establish more of a dominating presence. Roll at regular. Okay, so 10. You sort of do it.
Five. 10 versus a 5.
Azrael, from your point of view, it's almost like two cats are bickering with one another. Like, Delilah is just sort of... And this is odd for her, because usually she can just look at a guy and he'll nearly wet himself. It actually did, and that was kind of funny, but... Right now she seems really off her game. Maybe because she's cold as hell.
I kind of see... Obviously, they're not threatening anyone, so I just offer to buy Delilah buy them both a drink.
Oh, Delilah accepts. She pulls her coat back over, just trying to block out all the cold. This 6'6", 120-pound girl is freezing, and it's really not cold to anybody else.
Yeah, no, it's just really weird for you. Your body's never adjusted.
Yeah, I'm probably wearing very, very light clothing.
You're shirtless. Like,
right.
You just have pants, like a harness that sort of just covers the nipples, but beyond that, you're shirtless.
How is he?
Really? God.
He's got the whole farmer thing going on with this. Have you ever seen what's that movie? Atlantis. The big black guy. He got the suspenders and the pants on. That is exactly how he looks. He is now big and black. You are now officially black.
Well, he's a Goliath.
I'm big and gray. Let's go with that.
Azrael, your eyes wander and you come to the weird performer guy on stage. Music's all right. I've heard better, but given your place, you'll settle. And this is really well known. You've sat in on imperial orchestras playing, so your standards are kind of high. You can tell, though, he's using a bit of magic to augment the performance. Maybe not consciously, but perhaps it's something that's just innate with him. He's definitely an interesting person, though. You might have to keep an eye on him.
So, yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to be saying or doing other than offering to buy them a drink, which...
Octavius, your set eventually comes to the end, and much to quite a few people's groans and other such things, guys, you do eventually have to get off the stage and start moving towards that guy. Now I'm just reminded of the 5 basic food groups.
I need you to take these and top them off.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm remembering because there's a part that, like, someone did an animation on it. It's like the 5 basic food groups. Beans, bacon.
I'm gonna look that up
beans,
now.
Bacon, biscuits, gravy, and
It's beans, bacon, biscuits, whiskey, and
lard. That's your
lard,
5 basic food groups.
It's
Okay.
5 basic food groups.
No, what if we cilantro? What is this? Cilantro? Cilantro? What the hell is that? Regardless, Octavius' set eventually ends, and you sit down at a table, not realizing that it's the one that 2 people are already occupied at. You look up, and it's a very large woman and a guy with a mask. Azrael and Delilah, some random guy just sat down at your table. Azrael, you know, is the performer. Delilah, not so much.
You're quite a magician, are you? Sorry.
Mm-mm.
Sure.
Delilah shifts ever so slightly, and you hear something knock against the table. It happens to be her greatsword that's on her hip.
Calm down.
She's 6'6", big, red hair, a piercing under her upper lip, and a scar over her eye.
Other guy's got a mask.
Red.
Octavius, you've honestly met weirder.
Apparently to freeze my ass off. To freeze my ass off, apparently. That's what I'm doing here.
We're just wandering place to place. Nothing I could think of at the moment, sadly. It's birth defects. This is why I wear a mask. It's very unpleasant, so I rather not say to a complete stranger.
I can do this, and she crushes the tanker in her hand after she finishes the beer.
After you do that, you're as you see a knife lands 2 inches from the hand that just crushed the tankard. You look over and the bartender's hand is extended. As it appears she just threw a knife that nearly hit you. That's coming out of you. That's going on your tab, sweetheart. Try it again. I won't miss.
Sorry for the disturbance, madam. We'll pay for it. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. She pulls out a sack of gold and drops it on the table.
Promise? Get the payments and get her another tankard. And keep an eye on them. Make sure they don't do anything like it again.
Sorry, could you say that again? I didn't exactly hear anything.
Oh, sorry. Promise, get the gold and get that girl another tankard. Maybe something stronger and we can actually put her to sleep before she wrecks anything else. I assume you'll be staying here for the night, you lot?
Yes. 2 will be sufficient.
You'll have it.
I
Octavius.
have nowhere else to go.
Octavius, you said your name was? You did mighty fine. The best musician we've had here for a good long while. Your room will be... And you hear somebody else. Actually, I'll let him stay in my room. It's Rachel. Fremeth, you know her. Yeah. The bartender just... She gives like a bit of a wiry smile. All right, if you know what you're doing. Very well. If there's anything else. That a reference for you, Turkey?
Yeah, except their eyes are red. I don't know why they're yellow in this picture.
Because all their eyes are yellows or they're possessed by something?
Yeah. Hey, no. But, anyways, you guys want to talk about anything else before the night closes, or?
I take the gold, bring back a tankard of something that put an orc to sleep.
It's essentially almost a jelly at this point. Delilah, do you drink it?
Oh, I down it.
Roll a Constitution save. At disadvantage. Everything's gone fuzzy.
Yes.
No, you're still not slurred. It's just everything looks kind of fuzzy. And there's 3 of the white-haired boy.
You shouldn't have done that.
I don't regret my decision.
Considering that stuff can put down a full-grown bugbear, I don't think she had a chance in chugging it.
I thought that was one of the ways that we used to put the orc down.
I might have fortified it.
Oh. I suddenly regret doing that.
Don't be.
She is no longer cold. She tosses off her jacket and she kind of just sits up straight and looks around.
Would you like another one?
That's the limit for the night.
All right.
We got her right in that point where she's not too rowdy. And then she starts working with some other people.
So what brings you to town? I never exactly caught it. I'm talking to everyone. What brings you all to this town? I never caught your reason.
Problem with you sort of pull up a seat and just sit down next to them.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
It's like I told the musician here, we're just wandering around, going place to place.
All right.
Bromith, you know almost instinctually that he's holding something back, but it doesn't seem too bad.
Can I try persuasion check to like, are you sure you don't want to share?
Sure, roll persuasion. Azrael will insight to avoid it.
And all right.
Azrael remains tight-lipped about it.
All right.
Octavius,
I won't push any farther.
roll a perception. What's your passive perception, I should say? Roll a perception check, then.
My pass is a 16, by the way.
Damn.
That's a natural 20. A 20. Not natural 20. 19. That is great. So
You hear that whispered and about 2 tables over from you.
Ooh, people are whispering? Oh, wait, I'm drunk. Never mind.
What I just whispered to you, that you hear between 2 people 2 tables over. You do. Rachel brought you a bit of fine wine. Well,
Ryan, volume, please.
I look over at the bartender to see if she wants me to do anything about like the fine wine.
she just holds up her hand and shakes. Like, you're good.
I like wave a hand saying I understood. Understand.
Delilah's over here mimicking them both.
Wait, Delilah, what I think she is?
She's a Fonalise.
Okay.
Right now, she's calm. If something happens, she will be very, very
Booze-induced haze.
disagreeable.
Okay.
Azrael, what's your
Yeah,
passive?
13.
You notice Octavius's ears almost perk up a bit.
You sensing anything over there? What kind of bad stuff? Is that uncommon in this area?
You're not going to go try poking with the stick, are you?
Oh no, not by all means. One must be respectful for the deceased.
Delilah snorts.
All right, I think it's time you get a room and go to sleep. Seems like you're successfully drunk. Should I try persuasion or something? Or
No, by all means, show us to our rooms. Will you kindly?
Would you kindly? Now I feel like everybody's gonna do what you say.
okay, I'm gonna just make sure you pay for it on the way out. That's the only thing I'm gonna ask. Because pay for it on the way up. Because have they paid actually?
They did.
Delilah
All right.
did drop a bag of gold on the table.
A bag of gold, and I gave her like a beer that put her down.
Yeah.
All right.
You show them to their rooms.
I show them to their rooms.
Octavius, you're taken by. Octavius, you actually lounge about for a few more hours. Promise eventually comes back down. Starts.
Yeah, I come back down and sit next to him.
No, and keep in mind, like, you refer to him as like boy or runt, but given your size, everybody looks small to you. Meetings
like 7'5".
Yeah, no, Octavius, you've met a few people like him. One of them tried to rip your guts out, but the others were nice. So,
yeah, I gonna say I accidentally be intimidating. So,
yeah, no, you're not trying to be intimidating. You're just sort of.
I'm like not doing anything intimidating. I'm just sitting down and on a chair not meant for me.
Yeah. You're just. Yeah.
Yeah, it's big. So,
but you two are sitting alone. Still quite a few people lounging about, though things are starting to peter out. The hours go by. Did you try to make small talk with one another, or just...
I'm gonna... So, boy. Oh, God. I like Kratos saying that. Tell me a bit about yourself. Boy, tell me a bit about yourself. But I guess I assume you mean of the female persuasion. I can guess that leads to a few conflicts. Yeah, I get up for a second, go grab like something warm to drink, not too strong on the alcohol, but warm still. And
it's a bit of a like spiced rum.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like a mead of some type.
Yeah, essentially just a spiced mead, kind of.
Sit back down. You seem like a dainty little man. I'm referring to the fact that he's
seems like a date.
Seems like a dainty, like very feminine man.
He's calling you a girl. He's calling you a girl. He's calling you a girl.
In the basic, kindest way, I am. with the fact that he's like it's cold out and he's drinking wine. I never said you were. I called you a girly man, not a girl.
Girly man. You're just a little girly man.
A very girly man. Oh, I've encountered a few. They've all seemed to attach themselves to me.
You're saying this knowing full well two of the bartenders. Just a few days ago, if you remember, two bartenders or barmaidens had essentially groped your ass a few days ago.
I let that pass.
Yeah, you would let that one pass and just sort of looked at them, but you know from experience that women do like the muscle look.
Yeah. And take a sip as I'm taking a sip as I'm remembering that. You don't seem like you could stand much for yourself. How do you make it to this town so safely? In this land, you have to be careful how you do it, though. Well, I heard that some people don't take kindly to certain acts. Out of character, I'm referring to magic, if that's not obvious. No, that bartender or barmaiden, I don't remember exactly what you called Rachel.
Barmaiden. She's more like somebody that goes around and gives drinks.
You better leave that girl alone. Can't be. Not what I meant. But either way, I'm going to go out. I turn to the bartender and say, I will try to be back. I'll try to be back before it gets too late.
Just don't go too far.
Yeah, I
don't have any paper near me.
I mean, my mic dangles from my head, so I'm not sure exactly if that's the noise.
Not coming from me.
Yeah, let's just move on. Okay, so
I finish my drink and walk out.
Yeah, you just chug the rest of it and put down the tankard, walk outside. Yeah. Octavius, you doing anything else, or you just... Did you say your name? Oh my god, yeah.
Wasn't it?
Just know some pretty girl brought you wine. Yeah, so
I threaten to do bodily harm if he does anything to him, basically. But either way, what exactly is gonna happen with Octavius?
Promise you are wandering out, and do you head more towards the edge of town, or do you want to wander around like the main square? Because
I want to wander around toward the edge of town, where more the place where more shifty, shady people go.
You do, and it takes a little bit, about 5-10 minutes.
Right. Should I do persuade? Shouldn't I do like a perception check?
Yeah, roll perception.
All right, perception. Yeah.
You find.
How do I get rid of with advantage?
You don't find anybody of note. Over the past few weeks, things have people have started staying indoors when everything started getting dark. You notice that things get weird. You find yourself towards one of the forks in the road that lead towards some of the farms that surround the town. You look up at the signpost, and there are, well, one second.
There are what on top of the signpost?
There are 2 signs.
All right. I take a check to read the signs.
One sign points towards, well, there are 3 signs. One sign points towards the town, reading Rover's Mill, or Rover's Landing. There's a sign pointing down the left path, reading the Hale Farm. You know them. They're pretty nice people. Elderly couple with one son. The son comes in to drink every once in a while and poorly hit on some of the servers, but nothing a bit of a good ass kicking didn't solve. Then there's the Lowville Mill. Those folks tend to keep themselves, and that's perfectly fine. You run deliveries back every once in a while of wood to get wood to make new tables or things like that. Then the sign to the right, it's been ripped off recently. You never wandered out here. Well, you never looked at the sign much, so you don't remember what it said, but it looks like it's been recently ripped off. In fact, the rigging that kept the sign in place is still there. In its place, a smaller sign has been put on again, reading "Do Not Enter."
I ignore the sign and enter.
It's a pretty long road. You get towards the edge of what looks like a small wooded area before you stop. Every instinct in your head is screaming at you to go the other way. And then you see it. Too small. And you see it. Above the tree line in the night sky, this green glow starts lighting it up. It's the sickly green color, not something natural. It looks disturbing, haunting, almost. It's rather unnerving.
Again, I pull out my mates just in case.
Roll a charisma saving throw.
A charisma saving throw.
Yeah.
So that should be clicking on charisma.
No. There is.
Oh wait, I see saving throws.
Yeah.
13.
You lose your nerve and turn back to town.
Okay.
And keep in mind to ask somebody about the green glow.
I was looking for more information about the unknown talisman I have. See if I can find anyone that recognized it.
You get the feeling something worse might have waited for you there than answers that you don't want. But
all right.
You walk back towards town and things. You get back and, well, Octavius is gone, along with Rachel.
I let out a very audible sigh of annoyance. Ugh.
If it makes you feel any better, Rachel was practically ripping off his clothing when she managed to get him upstairs.
That does not make me feel any better.
Well, I'm fairly certain you can't kick the ass of one of my patrons. What you do outside the tavern is not under my control. Just no fighting inside.
So he found his way out of a window.
No.
How did
Remember the last time you did that?
I tripped through the door first. Wasn't my
Yeah.
fault. He came flying back into a window.
Yeah. Surprisingly, he managed to get thrown into a second-story window from supposedly the other side of the street.
Hey, how
No
was that done?
fighting in the tavern.
All right.
Hear a rumble as Delilah appears at the stairs looking around. She had heard the word fighting.
Mm, have you sobered up at all? Or are you still drunk?
It hasn't been that long.
I have incredible hearing. I'm still buzzed.
Go back up. If there's a fight, I'll let you know. I lie.
Delilah, you are drunk enough to believe that.
You won't have to tell me. I'll know. Walls are thin around here.
Keep in mind that came out kind of slurred. You don't really believe her.
Yeah, I don't believe most patrons that come in here, so. I mean, the guy through the window said he could beat me in a fight.
Necro? Oh, yeah, right. So do all of you go to bed? Octavius, you have a wonderful night.
I kind of spent a few more minutes in the bar.
Most of the other
After
patrons
pulling out a
eventually find their way out, or find their way to a room for the night.
I go back upstairs, but I say something very, very mean and Sylvan before I do.
I feel slightly insulted by that. I say something back in elemental, or not elemental, giant.
Okay. So,
Nothing mean. I just saying something back.
neither of you can understand what anything the other one said.
I just felt insulted, but not like rudely insulted. Just casually
You
insulted.
just feel a bit offended.
Yeah, feel offended, but not enough to where I'm going to throw share at them.
Regardless, point being, you guys eventually find your way to bed. Delilah, you have a restful night's sleep. You manage to score a room with a fireplace, so that thing's just roaring all night. You're essentially, if you could, you'd be sleeping on top of it, but you're not. Octavius, you have a wonderful night with Rachel. You spend the entire night, you spend the first half of the night braiding her hair. The second half, things get slightly more heated.
Bounce guy, well.
She actually takes advantage of you in that situation.
Oh my.
And while you're used to this, it's never been by a girl that seems so meek.
Uh-oh. Yandere, run.
No, not that. It just seemed like it was a girl that needed to have a bit of stress relief. Cathartic stress relief, that is.
I'm still going to worry about her. And how do I sleep?
As Ramith, you sleep fairly well. You work off the buzz fairly quickly and get sleep. You don't dream of anything, luckily. Azrael, you're a bit different. You have another dream.
Still waiting for season 2.
Unfortunately, Octavius doesn't have a friend come in.
Wait, is that what I think it is? Konosuba? Or
Not even close.
Monster Misune.
Yes.
you mean the
Better girl.
Mero and Rhaenyra.
I don't know that anime that
Let's
well.
admit it. We're all.
I thought it was a snake.
Let's admit it. Most of us are a bit degenerate. We are fully fine with admitting that.
Unlike you guys, I actually met the guy.
That voices him?
No, the actual creator.
Oh.
Nah, I just attended a panel where he was there.
I was just in the vicinity of this one cool guy.
Oh,
I would hardly call him cool. All right.
he really likes large breasts. That's all he's been talking about during the panel. Yeah.
Okay, back to Azazel's nightmares.
Azrael, but it's not so much a nightmare as just a very unpleasant dream. For you, this is normal, but it's a bit more specific. It's a picture of the town, or rather a visage of it. Slowly, the buildings start to wither away, turn these sort of grayish husks before blowing away on the wind. You look down to see these webbing like objects slowly crawl up your legs, and as they inch their way up, the very flesh that they touch turns gray as well. Eventually they reach your chest, your neck. And then you see something. Glowing simple. Burns almost. If you look down and the vines disappear, but the gray remains. You then see a sickle, drenched in blood. You snap awake.
Sounds like a nightmare to me.
There's a bit of blood leaking from the eye. A normal event whenever you have a nightmare like this, but it luckily hasn't stained anything, so cleanup's easy. Delilah, your charge shot awake. You were nice enough to wipe the blood before it stained any of the pillows. He always doesn't move whenever he has these dreams. It's a bit disconcerting since it almost seems like he stops breathing, but he usually wakes up from them, so.
As long as his heart still beats, I can hear it. So.
No, even in the dreams, you almost can't hear the heartbeat.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, the first few times it happened, you were pounding on his chest and woke him and broke him out of it. Azrael, that was a bit of a sight to wake up to, seeing the 6'5" woman straddling your chest and pounding your abdomen with her fists.
Breaking a few ribs in the process.
The first few times, yes, but eventually she got softer.
What is that?
Regardless, Delilah, you know he had a dream.
Huh, cool. Do we get to leave and go sit in the place in the desert now?
Sadly, no.
Ooh. Or the Syrian. Oh.
Something involved in this town. I can tell you that.
Can we break it and go home?
Yeah. You could do that.
She breaks up at the fact that she gets to break something. Yay! If you haven't noticed, she's not very bright.
Oh, I mean, obviously.
Like every other thing. There.
Octavius, you wake up in an empty room.
Damn, son. Dined and dashed. Wake me up before you go.
You try putting on a shirt and cringe a bit when something burns. There's a mirror above a desk. You look at it and you notice you got these reddish marks all down your back. Yeah, claw marks. Frometh, you're up bright and early. You get down. Rachel's sort of hurrying out to get home to her family. You notice she's covering her neck slightly.
Sorry, what?
She's covering her neck slightly. She's wearing a shirt a bit higher than usual. High collar, covering the entire neck.
I just smack my forehead lightly. Like, oh my god.
As the bar. Luckily for you, though you don't know it yet, Rachel's known to be a bit vicarious. Her parents have pretty much given up hope on her settling down and marrying a single guy. But so long as she doesn't get in too much trouble, she's fine. She's sort of gained the same reputation you have.
Except for within one town.
True, yeah. I mean, she's still well-liked and respected. It's just, every once in a while, there's that itch.
Yeah.
And so long as she keeps it to out-of-towners, she's fine. Promise, you knew this, it's just you don't like it that much.
Yeah,
As usually the people she picks up tend to be a bit rough. In fact, this is the first time you've actually caught her leaving.
I turned to the bartender. Are you okay with her running basically a prostitution ring?
I don't think she gets paid for that. I think it's...
Basically.
As long as the girl doesn't shag anybody from town, I'm fine with it. As long as she stays away from the kids, yeah.
I'm probably going to have to help that man out, aren't I?
Would be nice to go and check up on him, I think. It's a bit of a rude awakening for that. And Azrael and Delilah, you pass the big guy on the stairs as you're going down to the main room.
Can I stop by my room before I go to him
Sure.
and pick up the kit, the herbalist kit I carry with me? When I pick up the herbalist kits and I go check on him.
You actually do. This has become a bit of a problem for you in the past. But you do have a few balms and healing salves. They don't actually contain any magic. They just help with burning. You've known some weird women. One of them's actually like extra strength, like supposed to deal with actual burn wounds. Again, you've known some weird women. It's still fun, just got a bit out of hand at times.
Can I walk into the room at this time? Or am I still walking
The
down?
door's closed.
I bang on the door loudly.
You want to knock on the door, or you just barging in?
I'm banging on the door, not knocking.
Activity just Your immediate gut reaction is to head for the window. Are you actually heading for the window? Yeah, no. You get your shirt back on a bit hurriedly. There's a bit of fear in the back of your mind.
I enter in.
How do you open the door?
I just open the door very slowly, like normally, like just as I'm walking into, as if I was to walk into a room normally.
Okay, because if you're going to go for the intimidation factor and just kick it in, basically, Octavius would have started running.
Well, I mean, I was going to check on him, making sure that she didn't accidentally kill him.
Well, he's not dead. He's looking a bit skittish.
You look like I'm about to kill you or something. I was not threatening you. I was warning you. Distinction without difference is I've seen her sleep with every man under the sun. That's not from town.
Except for him.
Except for me, but she's not, because I've turned that down already. Have I turned that down? Either way. I've come to offer help. I hold up the Erebos kit. Yeah.
They're about the same. His is a bit more numerous, but in terms of quality, you're both about the same.
You sure? I don't mind at all. You don't trust the new age. You don't trust new age medicine, don't you? Oh. Yeah. Just be careful. I've known she's done stranger things to smaller men.
Yeah, Rachel's tastes tend to run a bit weird.
Question: does she use whips at all?
Are you asking this to Octavius or me?
I'm asking this to you.
Why the hell would you tell anybody about that? You can't ask the guy you just went around with her.
I'm a researcher. I know I should figure this stuff out about the people I'm around for no good reason other than to have it.
You do notice people walk a bit funny afterwards, but you never heard any whip cracking. You think?
That's terrible. All right. I hope. Well, I hope she didn't use any of the tools I hope she didn't use. Yeah.
Octavius gonna perk up. What?
Nothing. Just let you find that out later.
No, that wasn't like what he said. It's just like that's just stumbling in your mind. It's like, wait, she had other things? Because from what you can remember of last night, it was a fairly varied night.
I walk out walk back downstairs. Back downstairs. You really have to talk to her about what she does. So I say to the bartender.
I think you should stay out of her business.
Call it a little worry for the poor girl.
I think you should be worrying about the guys.
Oh, most of them deserve what I do to them anyways. That was meant to be a double entendre, in case anyone was wondering.
Anyways, you all eventually wander back downstairs. Octavius, you find you're walking a bit funny. You guys eventually find downstairs, and sitting at a few of the tables, there's actually a few guardsmen. Seem to be kind of talking. They're a bit shifty-eyed.
I asked the excuse me, do you have what they ordered, or have they ordered anything, or haven't they ordered anything?
They already did, and they already got the food.
Any drinks?
Just water. Considering that
They
the
look like
gods
they
were
could use-
back there, they brought some drinks, but they were adamant about none. Something about upsetting the stomachs.
Looks like they use a nice mead to warm them up.
I already offered. They said no.
It's like they'd seen a phantom of some type.
She just kind of awkwardly goes back to wiping down the table. Apparently, a bit late last night, somebody threw up on it. And there's also a bit of blood next to it where you assume the woman slammed his face into the table.
Did you beat another man?
No. I taught another idiot a lesson.
That's not good for business, so you know that.
Oh, sure, like I want drunks that mess up the place and drive off the other clientele when they stink it up.
Yeah, it adds personality to the place.
It adds a stench.
That's true. I just check on the guests from last night, how they're doing. And
Octavius, do you sit down with those two since they're the only people you know, or
do you sit at all?
Okay. Azrael and Delilah, you guys notice as the guy from last night, white-haired kid, plops down in the chair next to you. He's actually like leaning forward. He's not leaning back to the chair. He's sort of like hunched over, almost like he's enraptured on the conversation, even though there is none.
Had a great night last night.
I joined them. I joined them by sitting in a chair. You look like you went 10 rounds with a interesting prostitute. Yeah, you'll find out sooner or later. Right. So how are you all two doing? I say the Azrael and Necro.
Another nightmare.
Really? I hope it did not disturb your sleep too much.
Not so much. It was kind of painful remembering everything.
All right. You can't and Miss hold her drink. Can't hold her drinks right there. Can't hold her drinks. Can't handle her drinks. Sorry.
She is unconscious.
Hopefully she didn't get sick. It would be hard to clean up after, especially in the room.
If she makes a mess, I'll clean up for her. Please don't worry.
I'd feel awful terrible if I made a guest do that, so don't worry too much.
Everybody roll perception.
Perception, my favorite stat to get proficiency in. 17, 12, 19, 16. Seriously, how do I take off saves? I mean, like a save. Or not save, but advantage.
Either that includes you.
So what happened?
Everybody just roll perception.
All right. And I make sure what I did worked. Real quick, just ignore whatever pops up. Oh wait, never mind. Doki, come on.
Where's my taser?
I'm right here.
Felt like you fell asleep for a second.
Oh no, I breathe heavy. Oh.
Oh.
Despite your post-drunk haze setting over your mind and your want to go unconscious, something pricks your interest, and this is actually something all of you hear. It's what one of the guards is mumbling to another. Told them they gotta stay out of the fucking farm, but the damn priest keeps bugging us. What the hell do we do? To which another one replies, just keep telling her it's cursed and she can't go there. Hopefully she'll eventually lose interest and just leave.
Now there is a big 6'6" girl standing over both of them. Did somebody say cursed?
And a 7'5" Goliath standing behind her. Any way we can help y'all?
No. So would you mind your own damn business?
How about I make your business my business?
That would not be wise.
Well, based off the intelligence of this one, we should be fine. I say, tapping Toki's head.
Yeah, Delilah, few people can tap you on the head.
Just not violently, but
no,
just
but
like
still,
that.
Few people tap you on the head or any upper area.
No, I'm tapping Toki's head.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Wait, who are you? Oh. What's going on?
Somebody's getting punched in the ribs.
Should I do a strength save or something? Try to. My armor class. That's above my armor class. We're doing. What we're going to do with a disadvantage, and it's just below my armor class.
Hell, mine's only 15.
Just above my armor class, I should say.
Mine is 14, actually.
We all can't be dexterous like you, Mr. Bard.
I just feel like I should try it. Yeah, it's just above my armor class. It's only about 12.
And Brian's being quiet.
Because he's like, I think he's double checking my stats to make sure I'm not going crazy.
Okay, so I'm so delighted. Did you hit Promuth or one of the guards?
I hit the person that touched my hair.
All right, you swung and clocked Promuth square in the jaw. Promuth, that felt like a love tap.
Okay.
The guards are kind of looking a bit confused.
See, intelligence is not an issue here.
Promuth, what did I tell you?
I'm not fighting back. Don't worry.
Delilah, don't get into any fights now.
The guard chimes in. You're the bartender, Goliath. Now piss off. We ain't got nothing to tell you. You can't do jack shit to us. So would you mind pissing off and leaving us in peace?
I am.
Did we ask for your opinion, elf boy? You sure as hell look like one. Well, that's shorter.
Oh,
Oh no, she was debating over putting a greatsword in the dude's face.
In my face?
No, the other dudes.
Oh.
Delilah.
Should I try intimidation? Just like slightly annoyed.
There's a slightly sort of spaced out look that falls over the person for a bit. I suppose. And at that point, you hear a sounding as the guy gets an elbow directly on top of the head from another guy at the table. None of your fucking business. Now piss off before we arrest you.
Oh, I know how we should solve this. Why don't we go outside and have a light fight? Whoever wins, if you win, I will leave you all alone. If I win, you'll tell us everything we want to know.
You realize fighting the town guard's tantamount to being considered a bandit, right?
It's not so much a fight. It's a friendly fight. No killing blows, no permanent injuries.
Delilah looks at Azazel. So they have to follow the law, right?
We are the law here.
She slams her symbol on the desk, showing that she's from the Order of Blood Hunters.
That's supposed to mean anything to me?
Yes, it's like the secret police.
Keep in mind, they only operate in the major cities.
So this is still part of the cities, right? It's still part of
It's a town.
Iron Compendium. They have to follow the laws of the kingdom. I still wouldn't get arrested for beating them up, though. Because I have a contract from the actual place that says if they get in my way, I can actually hurt them.
Guy,
I have a document that says that any law enforcement, because I'm a blood hunter.
This is something you gotta know. Blood hunters don't actually. The only reason blood hunters aren't openly hunted by people for being somewhat freaks of nature is the fact that they get rid of the more unsavory targets that blood hunters.
Yes, that's what you're
it's what they're
basically.
The only reason they're not outright despised or hunted is because they handle more icky threats, ones that people really don't like getting involved in. They don't have any actual authority. It's pretty much just saying that if they end up killing an innocent, they're not really to be held accountable because they most likely had a reason to. You can't go picking fights with the town guard and not expect to get in trouble for it.
I was not expecting to get in trouble, but they're holding back information that can help me get rid of a curse. That's right up my alley.
oh, well, I'm just offering a friendly competition of strength.
Oh no, he's blacked out. The dude elbowed him on top of the head and slammed his head in the table. These guys know their shit.
I shift from a fight. How about a simple arm wrestling match?
You assume that I'm willing to actually try and give up. And that's assuming I have anything to give up, which I don't. So again,
Simple.
piss off.
Uh,
The guy stands up,
Hello.
and he's
Can I,
actually almost your height.
I still have to look down at him, probably.
Only by a bit. Only by a bit, not much.
Bartender, can I do something?
What?
Would you get mad if I threw him out the door?
Is he one of the guard?
I don't give a care if he did guard or not. I'll just leave. That's all necessary for you.
Come on. We're obviously not wanted here. He slams a pouch of gold down on the table. Someone get Richter up. Fuck's sake.
Wait, is he actually fighting me, or
No, all the guards are just leaving.
can I grab him? I don't care.
You
simply
feel
care
the
for-
icy cold stare of the bartender as you even think of doing that.
All right, I will not do that, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. I am. I'll leave them. I'll just go outside and do it, ma'am. Wait, I won't do it, ma'am.
Good boy.
Oh God! I pulled an iron bull.
They all exit. One of them, well, two of them actually carrying Richter, the unconscious guard, between them.
I stop. I stop him. You can stay in a room for night
I know.
until he comes up.
Very exciting.
It's the morning.
Oh,
They'll be
you
fine at the
see
barracks.
Montreal and the Champs-Elysees.
They shoulder him up and keep moving
Yeah,
outwards.
yeah, fireworks.
I
mean,
just
they're
like
all
consider it
going
an act of
crazy.
kindness
Everybody's
for me
going nuts.
for bugging you. You may have my
Oh, it's starting to
Room.
rain very hard.
I said we're fine. Goodbye. And they just leave. I don't think they'll hold you to it. That means they'll have to prove you actually did magic, and they hate doing that. True, but given how the gods act, if it's just one person saying it happened, nobody pretends to believe the one person. Even if he's a god. Trust me, sweetie, you're fine.
Me?
Who are you talking to? Asriel's just sitting at the table being perfectly fine. He's like sipping a cup of tea. Yeah, you're... Octavius, how big are you? Yeah, so these guys who's at least almost a foot and 2 feet taller than you, you're just screaming at them at the moment. From Delilah, from your point of view, it's a lot like a puppy's throwing a tantrum.
Oh,
kind of cute, but it can very quickly turn ugly.
Can I lift him up and just? Can I not lift him up? Can I just like ignore him and walk away?
Sure.
I just asked, ma'am, do I need to do any deliveries today? Because I'd much rather not be yelled at by a pup.
Nope. You're fine.
Is there any excuse I can get out of here and be back later? Is what I'm asking.
Not likely.
Yeah.
Goliath.
Delilah,
Besides,
I think I heard.
the nice boy might give you a lesson in manners and how to keep you calm. It's more this one's had to deal with Promise for a few weeks and knows that he can get kind of violent. Especially when he doesn't need to.
Well, last person that gave a hint of knowing me, who lied, I threw out a window, so.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't deal well with people like that. She tends to intimidate me into not doing things, so ma'am, I'm going to go throw my head in a pile of snow or something.
All right.
And I walk out.
Yeah. Delilah was standing there, lightning crackling around her hands when the dude says snow, she instantly bundles up and goes sits beside Azazel. Picking her up her symbol and putting it back in her pocket.
Asriel, not Azazel.
She says it wrong. She's from Syrinx.
Civics, but yeah.
Should I roll for something to make sure I find like a pile of snow or something? I don't know.
You walk outside and just sort of kneel down and stick your head into the snowbank right next to the front door.
And I walk back in a lot calmer. All right, I'm back, ma'am. Ready to do any work you need me to do?
Anyways, guys, want to talk at all, or?
Who are you talking to? She pulls her symbol and puts it back on the table. It says, I am a blood hunter. They said curse. Cursed objects I break. I get paid for cursed
Roll
objects.
a history check.
He
I'm
did.
gonna roll a history check too, just for the heck, to see if I know.
You've heard vaguely about them. They're sort of a more obscure order. They tend to operate all over the place. There's a few groups you've run into every once in a while. You might have slept with one now that you think about it. Point being, you know they hunt objects relating to the occult and such. But beyond that, not much. Prometh, you know that blood hunters are less secret police and more hired enforcers. They travel from area to area, finding whatever kind of destructive arcane force they can, killing it as much as possible, and then getting paid by whoever was getting bothered by it. They move on, rush, rinse, repeat. One or two have passed through the town every once in a while, but they never stuck around long.
Have I
We're
ever
always
had to
polite?
beat them?
No.
Alright.
They were always polite, kept to themselves, sort of sullen, but they always paid well, so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't call me the Bloody Baroness for nothing.
No, I'm just gonna ask. Does anyone know? Can I show them the unknown talisman?
You take out your own talisman and compare them?
I asked them. Do you recognize this at all? I don't know actually how to show them it. So
You just take out the talisman and show it to Dahlia.
yeah, I take
Dahlia, it's like nothing secretive. He's just like taking it out and showing it.
Yeah,
Octavius and
do one of
Delilah,
y'all
neither of you recognize it.
Is it Fey Fiend or whatever? What is it? Fey Fiend and
It's nothing that you got. None of you guys know what the hell it is.
Is there any writing?
Shy guy was the one that said or Brian was the one that wanted me to add to my inventory, so he probably knows more what it looks like than I do.
Fey Fiends are undead.
None of them.
Is there writing or something?
There are these random script. It's sort of this. It's sort of a cross, except the bottom part is 2 points instead, and there's no top. There's writing on each of the points, and it's surrounded by a circle. This also has markings on it. The problem is none of you recognize what the symbols or the markings even are.
I could probably read that. Yeah.
So, can he? Right, because
You don't know.
So, I'm asking. All right, so by the looks of y'all, by the way I'm reading this room, none of y'all recognize this at all.
Can I borrow that real quick?
I feel a slight hesitation before I give it over to him.
Right? Israel, you have it in your hand. It's weird. It's almost... You can't understand it.
Here you go.
Promise, you feel a bit of like,
Please be careful with it. I'm not sure nothing happened to it.
it's not magic imbued. There's faint traces of what seem like magic, but there's definitely nothing left there. At one point or another, probably. That or it was just engraved with magical items. Magic can be rubbed off on one item from another if something magical was used to create it, but...
Where did you get this?
I'm not sure. I'm not going to pretend like I know. It's a talisman, so I take it back. Okay. So
Sounds like an onct.
more like an alk than anything else. I take it back and return it to where it came from. Where I pulled it from. Oh, well, thank you all anyways.
I say we find this barn.
Could they possibly have met?
Yeah, it's in a barn.
Barn.
Do you think? I think I might know what they're referring to, but we might want to wait till tonight to do it.
Why is that?
Because with my experience, nights are the best time to experience things unknown.
Do realize some of us don't see at night, right?
Yeah, the majority of you guys don't see at night.
I don't. We'll bring some torches with us then.
And that's less stealthy, isn't it?
You guys do remember, Octavius, you do remember they mentioned a priest. There's a bunch of churches nearby.
This place is super religious. The whole reason we're not allowed to use magic.
Oh, you mean the Alicia girl? Promise, you weren't here that day, but she came in and was asking a bunch of questions about one of the old farms. I don't remember which.
I guess I don't remember it too much.
She should be by the barracks. She's usually camped out there trying to get the guards to open up. You can probably go and find her. That or she'll be in one of the churches.
Do you have a piece of her clothing?
Or we split up.
Delilah, the bartender looks at you. It's like, I'm going to ignore that.
All right. You two. You think you can go check the barracks real quick?
Sure.
I'm referring to Azazel and Delilah. I'd say that.
Do you know where the barracks are?
I could just follow them guys back to where they went to.
Got their set?
And try to keep Delilah from harassing the guards again.
I'll try my best.
12.
All right, and I'll take the boy here, and we'll go check the churches. You have not earned a name.
We didn't even introduce ourselves.
Well,
Yeah. Oh, my name is Prometheus.
Sorry, left.
I promise. I'm just like doing a formal introduction. And what are y'all's names? Since we're technically working together now, we should probably know that. Oh. Am I allowed to? I feel like I want to. Oh. I feel as though I want to just throw you over my shoulder and walk. Throw you over my shoulder and walk to the nearest church. Okay, under the arm then.
He's pulling a Brian.
Okay. I'm saying I feel like I should, not that I'm going to. So calm yourself, child. I'm teasing you, by the way, just in case, because you seem like you're getting irritated. I thought I'd make that obvious.
Everybody's always teasing him.
I'm not meaning to be malicious at all. But that's just teasing, teasing, because he looks like compared to
Yeah, Octavius. Okay, so you're trying to find the priest?
Yeah, and I follow out the door.
Okay, so let's roll a survival check because you're trying to track her down.
Both of us, or
Hey, it's one of my best, and I only rolled a 12.
survival? I'm actually trying to find survival right now.
It's at the bottom of your skills.
No, I wouldn't.
Promise tends to stay by the bar.
By the bar, and the last time I went out, because one of the few times I went out, I almost got attacked by a giant person that thought I was a giant. So
Yeah, that happened. So you just approach some random guy and ask, "Have you seen a priest?"
I probably could ask if I know. Do I recognize any regular patrons at the bar?
Most of them have day jobs, so no. None of them are just wandering about.
All right. We have no day drinkers, obviously.
So are we just going with Octavius randomly asking somebody? So Octavius, you're pointed in the direction of the temples, and there are quite a few. The largest of which is Cassandra, goddess of the sun. There's also one Tadrothan, goddess of the dead, god of the dead, Fenthra, goddess of the wilderness and, well, plant life, and Tralden, god of law and order.
Can I try to do a recall to see if I can't remember anything about the girl or the priest?
Roll a history check, because this is trying to remember past
Yay,
things.
one of my best stats. 22.
You do remember something about her wearing darker colors.
All right. And I'm actually going to use my researchers to attempt the researcher feat real quick. That's all right with you. To recall which of the churches have typically uses darker colors.
That would be Drothan, which is typically like a black and goldish, or Tralden being more grayish colors.
All right. Since I talked to
Octavius is currently with you.
I'm trying to think of a new nickname for Octavius real quick. Lover boy, I believe we should head to Dracus. Drotham Temple first. If you haven't noticed, I'm bald, so. All right. You,
I did not intend that, but probably. Anyways.
all right. Should we roll something to check if we are find them, or should we go over to Azazel and Delilah?
It's Azrael. Only Delilah called Azazel.
Adriel, sorry. You mean like the angel? Adriel? All right, I'll remember that. All right. But I get to go to the temple. If
Anyways,
so,
you guys head in, and Primitive, you've been here once. It was to help organize the funeral events for one of the other server's parents. You and him kind of built up a bit of a rapport with one another, and he asked you to help with arrangements. Drothan's more like the church that's in charge of funerals and such. And their priests recognize that death is sort of a natural part of life, and while they don't fervently worship it and believe all life to be evil, they more just understand life's something that needs to happen. It's typically managed by 2 or 3 priests. He's not a popular god. He's more one seen to be necessary, but he still has his worshippers. There's also...
I give up a quick prayer in respect for the god.
Yeah, you sort of just bow your head and think for a few seconds before one of the priests, an older individual, sort of pale white hair, this very, very well-kept beard, comes out. How may I help you two today?
We are looking for possibly a newcomer to this church. Could be wanting to deal with some sort of curse of some type at a barn.
You must mean... 1 second.
I'm having a hard time recalling the name in real life.
You mean Grave Watcher Alicia? Yes, she arrived here a week ago. She's on here from official business from the Theocracy. Actually, Drothan's main church within Makaraven. Seems something of a vision quest. I thought she seemed rather young for it, and her inexperience is sadly showing. You'll find her in the archives room. And he points, and it's it's sort of like a standard church room, a few rows of pews. There's an altar sort of towards the back, and there's a few doors lining either side. He points to one of the doors to the left, or to your left. Go down the stairs and you'll find it. She should be in there reading.
I thank you very much, sir. And I go into the direction he pointed me. Are you coming, boy?
Boy.
Are you coming, boy?
Read it, boy. What
Anyways.
does it say?
Octavius, will be responding to that, or am I going to get? Oh, okay, sorry.
Mr. Brian, it is your turn.
Finally, the barracks is on fire.
Okay, God, the barracks are on fire. Save the children.
I don't have a fire, right? I have lightning. Everything will be like crumbled and lightning struck.
You could still catch
You
things.
can fire with lightning.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you have as far as spells go?
I don't have spells. My weapons
Okay.
just do elemental damage.
All right.
So, okay, back to the main topic at hand. You two head down the stairs.
Yep, and I mean, we should check what happened with the
And
barracks.
they're walking.
And
we're
they're
walking.
You guys head down the stairs and found yourself in like a small hallway underground. It's got a few torch sconces on the side that light it up. It's this nice sort of cobblestone look. And it eventually leads to a small door. Wooden. It's slightly ajar, and you can see faint candlelight from the inside.
Well, you're the one that deals with them, with the pretty ladies, obviously. I say to Octavius. So why don't you go try charming her? Don't get another conk up the ass.
Boy, clap back.
Jesus, all right. You guys enter the room, and you find it a small, almost sort of library. There's bookshelves lining almost every wall, except where the door is. And there's like a small table inside. It's actually a pretty spacious room, about 20, 25 feet by 25 feet. It's
In other
pretty
words,
nice.
I don't have to bend to be in it.
Yeah, no. It's also about 8, 9 feet tall.
Do we notice anyone in here?
Yes, there is one person almost hunched over the table, just reading through a book, almost absorbed by it, so much so that they haven't noticed you're here yet. Nothing. Yeah, no, but you don't hear anything.
Does she notice?
Nope.
I clap.
Nothing.
All right.
You're what?
I push. Oh God, did that work? Sorry.
You hear her like start to tap her foot slightly, but it doesn't. It seems more like gut reaction and not her actually noticing.
All right.
On the upside, now the entire room's filled with smooth jazz.
Just keep playing, child. I'm gonna go get her attention real quick.
Yeah.
I go.
Promise. What do you do?
I go up and like put one of my big hands on her shoulder.
And she grabs something and swings wildly at you.
Whoa. Calm down. Just here to judge and relax. Okay, that was terrible. I'd say.
Does an 18 hit? The mace slams into your side, but it's like not with any damage. Oh God. I am so sorry about that. You just...
Can I grab the mace and just take it out of her hands?
She actually has a fairly tight grip on it.
I'm going to do a strength athletic check. I think that's what it'd be.
Strength check. Just straight strength.
Straight strength. Okay. Oh, I just... Oh. Can I do another roll?
Octavius, you realize that she's actually wearing like vestment robes at the moment. It sort of slipped back. You realize the wrist that's exposed it's not like buff, but it's sort of like Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan, just corded with muscle, but very slender. And right now it is clenched around that mace. I'd actually ask you not to do that, please.
Can I try lifting her up by the mace?
Oh, there's another one. Hi. Oh, that's what that was. It was.
Yeah, he's half a good musician.
Rather nice music. Who are you and why are you here?
Fromit is the name. It's a pleasure to meet you, little small child. Not small child, sorry. Can I take that back?
She actually gets up, and she is small. She's 5'3".
I reach out a hand for her to shake.
Okay, she does, and it's actually a pretty strong grip. Alicia Pryor.
That's you give her.
Grave Watcher. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure's all
You
mine.
as well, Octavius. Alicia Pryor. Oh, Alicia Pryor.
Sister. Megan?
In what regard?
An opera.
And yeah, you get a better look at her. She's actually like sort of mousy. She's got the short shoulder length brown hair, pair of red eyes, and she's wearing a pair of actually like wire rimmed glasses. She's wearing vestment robes. You can tell now that it's like she's sort of like she's not a stocky. She's just well built, but just smaller body.
Don't
Calm
screw her
yourself,
too.
boy.
And actually, she's just like looking at you quizzically. She doesn't seem to be attracted to you in any way, Octavius, and you would know.
Oh, finally, a girl I've seen who doesn't want to get in your pants.
But there is one noticeable thing. There's a scar that runs along her left eye, like right over it, but it doesn't seem to have affected the eye at all.
Like if she was to close the eye, the scar would just keep going along it.
Yeah.
All right.
Point being,
So
she's a little more pale skin. It's like you guess that this woman does not get out much.
all right. So, ma'am, what brings you to this humble little, what you call it, child? I'd say, looking at Octavius. I'm investigating the farm, but I am trying to get her to say why she's here and why she wants so interested in the farm.
It's private business. Official business of the church, so
I take
prefer you not to pry.
I put
take the other hand and like cover it. Ma'am, we would love to help your church with any way we possibly could.
Yes, and the guards told me the same thing, but they haven't told me anything in more than a week.
Oh. Let's just say the guards aren't the best folk around here. They tend to not like people outside.
Yes, I've come to understand this. My point being, it's not so much I don't trust you, which, no offense, but I don't.
You should.
This is something I have to do on my own. I was given this objective by my own god, and I must complete it on my own, or else I'm not worthy of his blessings.
Can I get down to a place where I'm less intimidating inside to her?
You awkwardly bend at the knees to get down to her. It's like you're almost to where your kneecaps are on the floor.
I'm doing a really weird squat, so I'm pretty sure your god wouldn't want you dead. Hope is always a good thing to have.
If I'm to die in this task, then that is my role. That is his plan for me, and I will accept it gladly.
Oh, you're that type of... Oh, never mind.
No, I don't
need anything.
wish death. It's simply, if it is my fate to die, then it is my fate to die, and I cannot undo that.
If it's your...
It's more, not so much that it was not asked, it's more a matter of pride among the others.
Like, you don't want any of the other gods?
Not my own, the church's.
Screw the church.
You must understand, within the theocracy, even Drothan has never been a very celebrated god. He's viewed almost as a nuisance by some. As such, those who follow him tend to carry themselves with a sense of pride so that they don't allow the barbs to harm them. As such, whenever one of us receives a quest of vision, we undertake it on our own to prove that even one of us is worth 10 priests of another church.
Well, I ain't a part of any of the other churches, so consider the fact that us helping you would not be known by many.
Someone will always find out. Both of you roll persuasion. Or rather, Octavius roll persuasion with advantage because Promuth in his own way is trying to help.
So I should roll persuasion?
No,
Two.
Octavius does.
Okay.
Well, although,
the luck and roll is not
if I were to hire you, and you just so happen to accidentally solve the problem, then that would be out of my hands entirely.
That is true.
But I don't have any money.
Can I go? Consider a smile and payment enough for me.
No, I must hire you. How about this? I have a few old tomes and books on monstrosities and undead that I can give you, as well as a symbol of favor. You know one sense of what that means.
I
Promise you
cannot
don't.
do that for you.
And Octavius, your face goes a bit red. Alicia immediately notices, and no, not like that. It simply means I'd owe you a debt of service.
Oh. I laugh.
So,
oh God!
And she holds out a small hand to you, Octavius. Do we have a deal? Her face goes red. And Octavius, you look up. The other hand is gripping the mace and sort of shaking. You can't tell. That'd be insight. Oh, no, wait. Perception in this case. Yeah. Yeah. A mixture of both, you think?
You know, oh God, this is terrible. You should smack him once just to make sure he doesn't have any ideas. I'd say to the priestess. So,
I think you should rather know what you're dealing with first.
I stand back up to complete height because I don't think I've done that yet. My legs are stronger than ever.
As far as I know, and this is very little, I'm rather ashamed of myself that this is all I've found in the 2 weeks I've been here. Supposedly, the farm in question, the family that resided on it had recently discovered something buried in one of their farmlands, or rather in one of the acres they grew crops. They claimed that they were going to dig it up, that they were going to remove it and bring it in to be appraised. And that very same night, townsfolk claimed to have saw strange lights in the sky. I don't know, I thought that was a bit odd. And after that, the family hasn't been heard from. Keep in mind, that was 2 weeks before even I got here. So this family's been missing for 4 months and nobody's done anything. I don't know if it's superstition or just indifference, but no one is going to check on them since. Anybody that does is usually dead by the next day. So I've been reading through records of the lands, trying to see if there's any connections to the occult, the undead. Because I received a vision directing me here. It must have something to do with Trothan's realm of influence. Or at least something very close to it. Now, I have no idea. I've simply hired you to handle an unrelated problem of mine. But if I had to say anything, I would not tell you to ask around with some of the other farmhands to see if they know anything. And I would most definitely not tell you to go and check the farm yourself. Am I clear?
Crystal.
Octavia, she sort of gives you a sly wink. Or rather, it's not even sly, it's more just like really awkward and telegraphed wink. Never in that sense, like never in the sort of secret sharing. She's more like wink at somebody to be nice, but never like to secret keep or be sly about it. Like it's really over exaggerated, just eh. It's sort of quizzical, but
but I take no notice of what's going on. Come on, child, let's go. You're just giving up insulting me now. You know, I'm Sister George's child. Come on, child. Oh. So, do we want to check in with Toki and Necro?
well, you guys would have to find them first.
Well, yeah. I kind of had the party separate out. Do we even know what barracks are? I don't. Wait, do I have to make delivery to the barracks? Brian.
Yeah?
Do I make delivery to the barracks?
You drag Octavius to the barracks.
No, like, do I know what the barracks are?
Yeah, you do. You've had to drag
Alright.
a guard or two back there.
I mean, the guards I didn't let stay in a room. Yeah, so, Delilah, Aziel.
Luckily, they haven't burned the place down to the ground. Unluckily, Delilah is only barely being held back by Azrael from ripping the door off.
All right.
Oh,
What's wrong with redhead there?
one of the guards might have insulted her.
Come out of here, you skagging Mick. I'll rip your fucking arm off.
Mind, give me a hand. I can't hold her any longer.
At that point, you actually hear as Azrael's feet are being dragged.
Can I do an athletics check, see if I can't lift her up or something?
It's still too dangerous to attempt contact with you directly.
So do athletics or try to lift her up to keep her from moving or something?
Wouldn't that be strength?
Isn't athletics like the act of lifting things?
What ability would you be trying to use?
I'd be trying to lift her up.
That would be strength.
All right, I'll roll strength. And I probably need to consider my powerful build things. Oh wait, that's
I have that too, so.
It makes you considered one size larger.
Yeah.
So if we have to push something, that thing is fucked.
Shoulder check it. It'll move. All right, so 13.
Delilah rolled strength.
I swear, if I get lucky with this. Yeah. Do I at least get her to stop a little bit?
You slow her down. Now you're sort of at a standstill.
How about we go back to the tavern and we get you a nice cup of mead? A nice cup of whatever.
How about I shove a lightning bolt up that bitch ass guard's ass?
No.
How about
Azrael, you suddenly hear soft jazz music waft through the air. As you look over in Octavia, and the white-haired kid is like nervously playing a saxophone. Point
I'd play a
stands.
saxophone. It's sexier.
He's like very nervously and sort of awkwardly. Yeah, no, but your feeling of like, oh crap, this is gonna go bad is still being telegraphed on your face. Sure,
I found
roll
something for you to
performance.
kill later. Should I I'm gonna try to lie and say I might have found something for you to kill. Oh God!
Oh, what is that? Insight? My insight is horrible.
Roll inside, I guess that would be. Yep, you. Why me?
I'm more distracted by the French horn right now because my senses are way better than most humans, and I'm just like, why are you playing that horn?
It actually sounds kind of nice, but it is confusing.
Stop playing the horn and help me get this bastard.
It's at this point you see and Delilah, it's at this point that you notice that Zazel standing behind you and just looking at you with the one eye very discontentedly.
For some odd reason, I feel I should roll animal handling, but
no.
She grumbles and she crosses her arm. If he steps out here, he's dead. That's all I have to say. And she turns away from the guard shack and sits down.
We have information. If you want to come back to the tavern and get something that can get you drunk inside of you, we would be glad to share it with you.
Okay, so we're going to end the session here with you guys managing to defuse Delilah from ripping the barracks in two.
I'm still gonna once they get out of reach, I just knock on the door, and walk away.
The door opens slightly as somebody looks out, and then closes again.
Can I use a small spell real quick too? Just once. Oh yeah,
He's a very beefy druid. Yes, yeah. He's a muscle wizard.
I cast fist on the door.
Considering that eventually he can turn himself into a bear, that could very logically be something he does.
I cast fist and have a rock hit the door.
I mean, when we get to level 3, that's what Delilah turns into. She turns into a bear.
Yeah.
What are you molding, Earth?
I'm molding a chunk of earth into a small ball and having it be thrown at the door.
So anyways,
it doesn't have enough force to do damage, but at least you can hit the door again.
That's...
Yay.
We'll reconvene next week because we really haven't scratched the surface of what I've already prepared, so... Next week. I want to see if I can get Anthony in on it again.
I'll check with Anthony on Tuesday if he wants to get in.
All right. So, good game, guys.
Good game.
All right.
Basically, you have a barbarian that's not a barbarian.